The Fortnite storyline is starting to kick off as the Imagined Order have established a new headquarters on the island in the form of Covert Cavern. There's a lot going on that is secretly building up to the next season of Fortnite, which has been confirmed to be a gigantic war. So let's break down 7 storyline secrets, starting with the Seven's dark past. As we all know, there are 3 missing members of the Seven, the Sisters and the Origin. And thanks to leaks, we now know what the Origin looks like, and his design is interesting to say the least. His outfit is entirely different to the rest of the Seven, and his name, the Origin, implies that he is also one of the most important members of them all. If he isn't the leader of the Seven, then what makes him, well, the Origin? Well, it looks like that answer may have been in front of us this entire time. If you look at the Origin's design closely, he has a neck piece that is identical to the Cube Queen's crown, and coming out of his hands are purple cube particles that look just like the ones the Cube Queen also has, and this is no accident. There's a direct connection between the Seven and the last reality that changes the way we look at the Fortnite storyline forever. Some more obvious hints in the past could be Kevin the Cube coming from the rift that the Visitor created, but it's when you dive deeper you can find an even crazier secret revealed by the Queen herself.
Don't try me, I own your fight with Seven is in vain.
How did the Cube Queen somehow know about the feud between the Seven and the IO, unless she's been around way longer than we originally thought? What if the Origin used to be a member of the last reality and then eventually decided to rebel against them, creating the group we now know as the Seven? Think about it, there are 2 types of rifts in the Fortnite storyline, pure portals and sideways rifts. A pure portal is something that the Imagined Order used, like when they created portals in Chapter 2 Season 5 using the 0 point, while a sideways rift is a portal that you could use without the 0 point, like the one in the sky in Season 4 or the one the Queen used at the end of Chapter 2. We always wondered how the Seven knew how to open these sideways rifts when the Imagined Order didn't even know how, but if they had some sort of secret tied to the last reality, well, the final piece of the puzzle may have just clicked. There's so much to learn when the Origin and the Sisters are finally revealed, maybe as soon as a few months from now, but until then though, people are going crazy over the Midas and Seven secret. There's been a huge mystery around Midas ever since his plan to destroy the loop failed in the device event. Some people assumed he would never come back, but it looks like Fortnite isn't quite done with his story yet. Not only have we had countless snapshots of Midas in the item shop, but Donald Mustard has confirmed that Midas is alive on top of the hidden dialogue over the years hinting at his return. If you remember back in Season 7, if you talked to Marigold as Jules or Midas, she would mention things like, "It's happening soon," or "Stick to the plan," and as we know, nothing ever came out of it. It felt weird how they kept teasing something for Midas and nothing happened, but with Chapter 3, we have our first look at what to expect. Epic is slowly hinting more and more about Midas' presence on the Chapter 3 island. We've talked about the Midas restaurant, but there's some new hidden objects at Covert Cavern as well. So if Midas is still on the Chapter 3 map, is his quote-unquote plan still in motion? Well, if you look at all the skins that have come out since Midas went missing, one of the latest and probably most important is Midas Rex. At first, we had no idea why Midas Rex was a part of this DC bundle or why he had such a weird mech suit on, but finally, it all started making sense. There's a theory that suggests Midas might actually work with the Seven, and this is because of the Midas Rex suit. Think about it, the Seven wear these crazy suits in order to not be affected by the loop. It's what separates them from the loopers, and upon closer inspection, you can see very similar features on the Midas Rex suit. Now, this doesn't confirm that Midas works for the Seven, but it's an interesting detail I haven't seen many people talk about. Midas joining up with the Seven would make for a super interesting dynamic, especially between Jones and Midas, because the last time they clashed, well, Jones ruined his entire plan. But luckily, if Midas Rex does team up with the Seven, then they better do it quick because of the reality war. Yeah, a lot is happening on the island right now. The Seven are launching rockets into space to gather wartime essentials and give them intel on the Imagined Order's whereabouts. They have been trying to get in touch with the Paradigm, who could help them prepare for a war against the IO, and soon we'll be getting a 7 workshop POI once she arrives on the island. And so if a workshop POI is coming, what exactly will they be making in that workshop? Now, we made an entire video covering the Monsterverse Robot 2.0 theory, and there's so much evidence involved. Basically, there's a huge theory right now that the Imagined Order is digging up the Caddis bones in order to clone it or resurrect it. Meanwhile, the Seven may need to fight off this monster if the IO are actually going to bring it back. And what better way to do it than the exact way they won last time with the robot? Now, we haven't had a statue on the map for a long time, and the last time that we did, it was Singularity, aka the Paradigm, who eventually became a sword. All I'm saying is statues in this game mean something, and that brings us to the Foundation statue in Chapter 3. Why is there a huge rock structure of this guy? There's always a reason for things in Fortnite. Our theory is that the Foundation statue might actually be a robot. There's a mysterious door on the stand, so whatever's in there leads you to the inside of the statue, maybe a control center. And the Foundation isn't just teasing the future of the season, he's also teasing the future of Fortnite. His actor, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has been in his fair share of video game movies. From Doom to Rampage, he is no stranger to it. According to a recent interview, he's actually working on a new video game movie that is one of the biggest and most badass games out there. Obviously, this could be anything, but with Dwayne playing the Foundation in Chapter 3 and the fact that it's a game he's played for years, a Fortnite movie is definitely not off the table. Now, some people think it might be Call of Duty or even Gears of War, but if it does end up being a Fortnite movie, this would be massive. Would you like to see the storyline of Fortnite explored on the big screen? If so, they could reveal Agent Jones's secret identity. There's a long-running theory that Agent Jones is secretly the son of Geno, the leader of the Imagined Order, but after all of this time, there hasn't been enough evidence until now. Originally, we all thought they were related because of this image from Chapter 2, Season 8. If this is Geno, as most believe, then he looks way too similar to John Jones for it to be a coincidence. He is designed this way on purpose, and of course, the obvious answer to this is that Jones is related to Geno in some way. And then Jones said this.
I've spent my whole life studying the 0 point, and this is the first time I've really seen it.
Now, this could be an exaggeration on Jones's part, but let's take a second to examine this at face value. What if he actually has been studying the 0 point his entire life because he was born in the Imagined Order? And this could mean two things. If Jones was born into the IO, it could mean the obvious theory that he is, of course, Geno's son. It just works for his dad's organization. Makes sense and definitely could be true. But what if it goes deeper than that? There's some weird dialogue that appeared back in Chapter 2, Season 6, where Raz gives us a quest to talk to different Joneses snapshots around the island. And if you go talk to Bunker Jonesy, he says, "Don't you get it? There's no Agent Jones." While Bunker Jonesy hasn't exactly been the most sane person out there, let's entertain this idea for a second. There is no Agent Jones. What could that mean? Well, what if he is claiming that maybe Agent Jones never existed? The Jones we know and love, if this theory is to be believed, might not be the original Jones that we all thought he was. Now, the idea is he might be a snapshot of default Jonesy that was kidnapped by the IO and tricked into working for them. This is a theory, but it would be kind of an awesome reveal. But what if we took it a step further, though? Why does Geno look like John Jones if he's a snapshot? I mean, you could easily connect those dots by suggesting that maybe, just maybe, Agent Jones is actually a snapshot of Geno. It would explain why Geno looks like an older version of him, and it would also explain why Jones has been studying the 0 point his entire life. It's because he's a snapshot who might have a mix of his new memories and Geno's old ones. Obviously, it's a huge theory that would be crazy if it came true, so Jones being Geno's son looks like it's the most likely outcome here, which is why you have to hear about the forgotten secrets of Chapter 2. By far, one of the biggest mysteries that has gone unexplained is the Fox Clan. If you have no idea what that is, I don't blame you, because Fortnite kept it as a hidden secret and then swept it under the rug, but finally it has some relevance now. Back in Chapter 2, Season 5, Vi took over the Fortnite Twitter account and posted cryptic tweets that look like messages aimed at Drift. She talks about how the Fox Clan is in trouble and that something is tracking us down. Something old, something bad, leaving Vi as the only one left. These tweets were then deleted from the internet and we heard nothing from them ever again. But what was really interesting was how it focused on Drift's Fox Clan mask. If you remember back in Chapter 1, Season 5, the mask gave him powers that looked really similar to the Cube's powers. And don't forget, both Drift and Kevin came from the same rift back in Season 5, and this is where things get really interesting. What if the thing that was hunting down the Fox Clan was actually the last reality? If the Fox Clan's masks give them cube-like powers, they must be connected to the last reality, and this gets even crazier, because if you remember during Chapter 2, Season 6, Raz said the Spire called to him in his dreams. But what you never noticed was something hiding under our noses the entire time. Raz's back bling, the End This Scroll, is a scroll filled with cube runes and symbols, and right there at the top, the Cube Queen's crown. What if this whole time Raz heard the Cube Queen calling to him and manipulated him into finding the Spire and leading her right to the Fortnite Island? This has been a mystery over a year in the making, and finally I think it's time we consider this one solved. Hope you all enjoyed. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.